I am a game developer, and I'm gonna spend the next 24 hours alone in the woods making a video game. There's no electricity, no Wi-Fi, and no shelter out here. So everything that I need to make a game and just survive needs to be carried in on my back. And there's one more problem. The game that I'm working on is scheduled to release on Steam tomorrow. If I can't finish up everything in the next 24 hours, I'm gonna miss my release date and waste months worth of effort. So I better not run into any holdups. But before I can even start thinking about my game, I need to set up my campsite. This area where I'm staying has a picnic table, a fire pit, and that's it. So my first priority is gonna be pitching my tent so I have some form of shelter. Maybe it should actually face the right direction. And once I get that set up, I can focus on my next big obstacle, which is not having any electricity. Without an external power source, my laptop's battery would only last a few hours. So I'm using a 2-part solar setup to keep my electronics running. I have a 500-watt power bank, which is what I'll be plugging my laptop into, and a 100-watt solar panel, which will help keep the power bank charged. Now that I have the basics set up, I can dive right in and get to work on the game. The project that I'm working on today is called Moto Knight, and it's a fun little action game where you zip around on a motorcycle and try not to get squished by giant hammers. The really cool thing about this game is that I drew all the artwork for it by hand on a single post-it note. That was a challenge for another video. But right now, the game is only about halfway finished, so here's what I need to do before I can release it. I need to create the menu system, design about 20 new levels, and finally, I need to add in all the sound effects and music. I normally wouldn't talk about my menus in a YouTube video, but check this out. All of the letters and numbers that are in the game come from this original sticky note drawing I did. I took that alphabet, I converted it into a digital font file, and now I can type in my own handwriting. So now I have text for the buttons, and I even had the foresight to make this little speaker icon for the sound settings. So the menus are starting to look pretty good. I'm gonna take a little break and start preparing my dinner while I still have some sunlight left. I didn't bring anything fancy to eat since I really just want to focus on my work, so I have a couple snacks and a dehydrated camp meal. All you need to make this is some boiling water, but as I stated, there are no utilities out here. There's no running water. So let me show you how you get clean drinking water out in the wild. All right, to start out, we're just gonna kind of scoop some water into the bag here. It doesn't go in that easy, actually, so you gotta kind of give it a couple tries. All right, once we got the water in there, we screw the filter on nice and tight, like that. And you can see the water, when you roll the pouch, it kind of dribbles out like that. So you take that, put the water bottle underneath, and you just squeeze it through the filter. And just like that, clean drinking water. Delicious. It does still taste like lake water though. Now that I have my water, I'm going to start a fire and cook my dinner. A lot of people are probably wondering why I decided to spend the last 24 hours before my game's release in the woods. It probably seems like an unnecessary complexity on top of an already difficult process. But the truth is, this really feels like the one place I can go to get work done without any sort of distractions. And yeah, it obviously takes some time to pitch the tent and make dinner over a fire, but that's nothing compared to what I save by being completely unreachable. No texts, no emails, no cat on my keyboard. It's just me and my computer trying to make a little game to share with the world. This stuff is so good. In my experience, there was always the rich kids who had this stuff, and I was always really jealous because I was eating peanut butter sandwiches out of a Ziploc bag. I'm like, this is the good stuff. This is the best I eat on a regular basis. All right, let's get back to making a game. The next thing that I want to work on is level design. For a game like Moto Knight, level design is everything. Driving a little motorcycle around is only fun for about 20 seconds unless you have fun and interesting obstacles to overcome. And not only do the levels need to be fun, they need to be constantly introducing new ideas and challenges so the player never gets bored. There needs to be a very clear sense of progression in the game. Here's how I'll do that. The game is going to be divided into 4 stages, with each stage containing 6 individual levels. The first stage will basically act as the tutorial. It'll introduce the player to the game's mechanics one at a time, stuff like controlling your speed, rotating in the air, and driving over obstacles. I had my girlfriend play a prototype of the game last week, and it was a good reminder that these controls aren't as intuitive as I kind of thought. Make sure you're holding reverse when you land. Yeah,
what do you mean?
So the tutorial needs to be good. And then the next 3 stages will continually add new challenges and new skills for the player to develop. That's the plan, let's get to work. Alright, so I moved this party inside. It was getting a little chilly out there, so I put on some extra layers. I got the camera there, my lantern hanging from the roof there, got my game open here, and I'm gonna put some more work in and see what I can get done. So I'm flying along, making a lot of progress, everything's going really smoothly, until it wasn't. I opened my game's audio folder and saw that it was totally empty. Before I left, I forgot to sync the files from the cloud, and now I'm in the middle of the woods with no cell service. Alright, so I basically have two options. First one is that I wait to do the audio until I get home tomorrow, and just hope that I can get everything to line up perfectly, which it probably won't work, it'll probably look bad. And my second option is to put my shoes back on, hike back down to the car, try to find some service, download the files to my phone, and then transfer them to my computer tonight. But I think that's what I have to do. Remember that peaceful little bridge I hiked over on my way in? Well, at nighttime, the vibes are a little different. We just gotta find some service. Shouldn't take too long, right? If anyone out there can explain how a game development YouTube channel became a horror channel, let me know. But after about 10 minutes of walking, I was finally able to find a few bars of service and download the files I needed. So with that out of the way, I was able to turn around and go back to camp. Going on that hike really set me back on my schedule, and I had a lot of work left to finish. So I opened up an energy drink and got right back to it. Most of the audio from Moto Knight isn't anything crazy, but there is one thing that's super cool: the title theme. I was originally just planning on using free music from the internet for this game, but a music composer actually reached out to me and asked if he could make a custom track for my game. His name is Adam Morton, and after a couple emails back and forth, he sent me this incredible metal track that I'm absolutely in love with. I've never had custom music in any project I've worked on, so this is a really cool experience for me. With the hand-drawn artwork and the hand-crafted music, it actually makes it feel like this project has a lot of heart. But at this point, I can barely keep my eyes open, so I'm gonna shut down my computer and try to get the rest of this work done in the morning. Okay. Good morning. It's about 7 a.m. Just woke up, got a couple hours of sleep. It's super chilly outside, but that's fine. I'll get a fire going, make some coffee, and get the morning going. The game development industry is kind of infamous for its really stressful crunch periods, and that is essentially what I'm in now. But I gotta say, it is a lot more tolerable on a beautiful morning like this. I'm spending the last couple hours finalizing my level design. Some of the tracks I worked on aren't going to make it into the final release, like this one here with the falling pillars. It's just too inconsistent. But here are a couple of my favorite levels that I think work really well. In level 3-3, you start by driving across the top of the level, but then when you get to the end, there's a button that flips the whole stage over. So you have to bounce your way over to the other side and then drive all the way back to the door on the underside. I think this one's really cool. In level 2-1, you have to balance on this ball as it rolls across a spike pit. It's a really short and simple level, but I think it's fun and kind of a nice change of pace. And level 4-4 is definitely the toughest of them all, with some really difficult gaps, a precise landing, and this final tunnel that's really tough to navigate. And with these last couple stages finished, Moto Knight is ready to ship out. So I made it home with just enough time to upload my game to Steam, where it is live right now. So go check out Moto Knight, and that is it for today. I'll see you around later. Bye.